Welcome to Rockhounding Family Adventures. Come follow my family as we trek across the country collecting crystals, fossils, and minerals. We'll learn the history of the sites we visit and have a little fun along the way. We hope you enjoyed this episode and join us again soon.
All right, we are going to be digging both in a mine and in a tailings pile. Now these require two different types of equipment. Basically any of your garden implements that are going to allow you to break up the dirt, move rocks, flip things over. That's what you're going to need for the tailings pile. So simple shovels, trowels, scratching tools, that's what we were going to use. Depending on where you go, some of the tailings piles have been around for 30, 40, 50, 80, couple hundred years. This is a garden tool. It looks like a knife. It's got a serrated edge. It's actually a shovel, but it's not real sharp. The footage is a little deceptive. It's not sharp at all. It's like a butter knife. But it does allow you to cut through roots and break up mud clods that are really dried out and tough. So this is a tool that we take to some of our trips. For working in the mine, 3-pound crack hammer is probably the way to go. And then you're going to use chisels. Concrete chisels is what you're going to find those as when you go to one of the hardware stores. So they can have flat tips or pointed tips, but the most important part about these guys, you'll learn very quickly, is to have a guard, because every now and then you're going to miss when things are dark and slippery and your arm starts to fatigue. So you want a guard. You can tell this one's caught a lot of whoopses over time. Have a guard so that you save your fingers. You can take a couple of these guys along if you want. They're smaller. Sometimes you can get things started. Don't use this as much. This is a wood chisel. I would never recommend using this, but you'll find that every now and then we do use the finer point here to slip in between rocks and crystals and use almost more as a pry bar than as a true chisel. Obviously we don't use it as a chisel too much, or it would be really dinged up. The reason you don't use these guys as rock and stone chisels is they're just not made for it. They're going to chip and splinter, and the ends are going to break and shatter. The metal's going to break. So with anything that you're using where you're going to be hammering, of course use safety glasses as well.
Good morning, Rockhounding family.
Good morning. Hi.
Today we are headed to Little Pine Garnet Mine. Oh, there was a finger. All right. See if Dad can get me in the frame. Hi, I don't think I've ever been introduced in one of our films.
This is Layla, and she's usually holding the camera. Joining us on this trip is Grandma, Reagan, Bastion,
What?
and Dad, or Daniel.
All right. So how long is this drive that we're making?
This is a 2-hour drive.
Great. So let's get to it.
Because it's all about the flashlight.
It is this place. No flashlight, no digging. Bad flashlight, probably not much digging. That is definitely what we learned.
Yes.
I can't see if that's a garnet or not. Oh, we got plenty of light. I still am not real sure. This is an old-fashioned lantern that still probably puts out more light than any of the newer lights. These were staples for a long time and continue to be so. The drawback is they're burning fuel and putting off carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. So in enclosed quarters and tents, these don't fly. Here's some of the newer flashlights. Well, 5 years ago they were new. using krypton bulbs, but still real heavy battery, not waterproof. They really don't take a licking. Old incandescent headlamp that the kids use when we first started. What they're coming out with now, the LED lights, these put out 600 lumens or so. They really light it up. You can drop them from 20 feet. They're waterproof. So we've got several of those. We've got some of the work lights, all LED lights, rechargeable. These things are so much lighter than the old flashlights or even from the mag lights, which put out a great amount of light, but they weigh so much that you don't want to go backpacking far with them. So we've got higher quality. We've got some lower quality for the kids. We did the same thing with the headlamps. Here's an incandescent bulb that we were using, but as we've upgraded over time, this is an LED. Puts out about 600 lumens, very bright. Use that as our filming light as well. This is a little cheaper version. It's for the kids. We've got several of these. Daniel, do you mind giving us a little history on?
The mine's over 100 years old. It was all hand dug. It used to go all the way back through the mountain. And they also had a little bit, you can see where it caved in over there as well. So there's several little mines right in here with the talc and everything.
So they originally mined it for?
There's different grades of garnets. I mean, you've got the more, what I call rotten, or, more rustic looking. And it is for more abrasive and sandpaper and uses like that. But you also got your darker, which you've mined it quite a bit, so you can tell. There's some that's kind of purplish looking, and that's your higher gem quality. It almost looks like just purple. And then you got your dark red and blackish looking, and that's a good gem quality. But then you got the more brittle, and that's more for the abrasive.
They would crush around?
Yeah, that they'd use for sandpaper. They also had a talc mill in Marshall a long time ago, and they'd all the silver looking is the talcum. And they'd grind it up and use it for the talcum powder, and baby powder, and they used that to start with, and then they started doing the garnets as well.
Okay.
Because that's what they're forming in is the talc.
Right.
But yeah, it was all hand dug, and of course, you probably read the sign and stuff. But yeah, that's about all the history I know on it. It's been in the family for a long time now.
Did you all buy it, or did your grandfather, great-grandfather?
My great-grandfather got it.
Okay. Was there already a mine here then, or did you start it?
Yeah, it was already mined at that point.
So how long have they been?
Like I said, I don't think it's been mined in probably 80 years or so. We've been doing horseback rides for around 18 years now, and bringing them over here. So it gets mined a lot. Yeah. And you would think that, you'd run. There's so many. It's crazy.
You all muck out the mine anymore?
Now, we usually don't go in there.
Yeah.
Like people that comes and pays, they're the ones that goes in the mine.
Right.
We'll let them walk in there and explore it and walk around and stuff. And then, you can still find them, especially, and you'll find out, if you go down, when you go in, there's a lower little tunnel down there. It ain't big. And you can go down there and just where they fall out. I guess earth movement, people walking and stuff. And you can just dig through that and find them all day long. But all of ours, we go right over there to that little, and
we pulled so many out of that.
After a while, it does get a little bit harder to find, because usually, you can just, especially after a good hard rain, you can walk and look on the top of the ground, and they'll just be laying everywhere.
Yeah.
But I guess after the years, it has been mined so much, and we've found so many. Usually you'll find 15, 20 garnets every time you come over here and give them to people. And so what we'll do now we'll bring the dozer over here and we'll just skim maybe 6 to 8 inches of the ground.
Turn it over.
And just turn it over.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, a brand new start.
Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate, you know, y'all keeping it going. Have
Oh,
people
yeah.
rocking.
I
A
mean,
lot of people.
there's still plenty of great gem quality. I mean, we've had some made for, you know, our family and stuff. You know, medallions and, you know, earrings. And, growing up, my grandfather, he always kept, you know, about 3 of them. One was just a little bit smaller than fist size, and the other one, you know, about like that. And it was, I mean, perfect shape. And he'll always keep them in his drawer, even when he was working at Farm Bureau, just to show friends. And stuff. Look what I got. Yeah, come on. You know,
That's cool.
Come on out.
Come to my mountain.
Yeah, come on out and do it for us.
Well, it looks like your horse group
Yeah.
is getting ready
Yeah,
to head on back. So
yeah.
appreciate you taking the time
Yeah.
to talk with us.
And
Absolutely.
every year we come out. Oh, he's a good boy. I know, baby. I was getting the sign. They're inside the cave. All right, let's go in. I bet it will be. Is Grandma going to take her chair in there, or are you going to set it out here in the sunshine? Whoa. Be careful, it's very slippery, Grandma. Sebastian? Good job. Now you watch Grandma, make sure she doesn't fall. All right. Those girls rock.
Here you can see several of the sides that are left by a larger garnet. Here's a couple of our little cave crickets, centipede. As we're just scanning around, you can see here somebody has fractured a garnet. You can see that surface a little bit. As we're looking around, right here you can see there's a face of a garnet there. So I'm going to get out a hammer and chisel. We're going to start working on these. There's another face and a face, so just flake some of this off. You can start to see the dimensions of that garnet. So we're going to start pulling out a couple of these garnets. There's a face, a face, a face, and somebody's just chipped it with the edge of a chisel. So this is a pretty good spot you can see here. Very large impression for a almost twice the size of a golf ball garnet. My wife is right underneath me and she's working on those down there. So we're going to get some of these exposed and show you when they're half exposed what they look like in the wall. Come in right behind this one. Slight abrasion, otherwise nice looking. You display it, just put that at the back.
Kind of like turning the Christmas tree to the corner.
Okay. So I think what we need to do here is two that are attached, so it's going to be a little bit weirder shape, which I love. Those are awesome.
I tagged the highlight.
That's me making noise, Bastion. A woodpecker?
And the little light in the distance is a 4-year-old boy. Oh, do I hear a ghost? Than what you had working.
That's a woman. Okay.
Okay, there's actually a couple. It's grown in together. Just knocked over our lantern. Needs another whack. I was wondering if that was an impression or if that was actually the...
If you could pull that one loose, you could probably get the other one. They're both moving. Let's see it.
Tailings pile.
So there are big ones to find out here on the tailings pile.
Look, here.
Maybe one there.
3 or 4 in
speaking of the old lady, she's still here. Alright, Grandma, what have you found?
Maybe brothers.
Yeah. Alright. Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're grown-ups, baby. Yes, grown-ups can be by the edges. Not little boys. She shouldn't. No, because she's clumsy. Yes. 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 Ooh. Careful, buddy.